Hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark Consuelos and his wife, Kelly Ripa, addressed her funeral outfit on Friday's talk program on ABC last week. Thinking ahead, there's no way she wants to be buried in a casket looking like yesterday's breakfast. She therefore ensured that he was aware of its whereabouts. Real-time Kelly Ripa considers what's coming. Fans of Live with Kelly and Mark are aware that Mark's wife is focused on the future. After all, there were a lot of conversations around her possible retirement in 2023. She brought it up several times, and Mark brought it up. In any case, even though it's not quite time, you can bet that she has some particular ideas in the works. The host of ABC's discussion show Live throughout the show, Kelly Ripa cracks a lot of jokes. On the morning chat show, though, she also discusses health advice, social issues, and other topics. Therefore, it's not always about one-liners that are brilliant, airy, and sardonic. She appeared sincere when discussing her funeral arrangements and where Mark could locate her outfit. The funeral dress is shared with Mark Consuelos. Viewers of ABC may remember that she brought up her funeral in 2016. She decided to set aside an outfit for her funeral, according to reports. That happened after she passed out after giving delivery. Mark Consuelos had dressed her in a green leotard, his black sweatpants that you rip off, and red pumps. She realized as she regained consciousness. If he chose her dress for her last farewell, she feared something absurd. "The dress is in the back of my closet," Kelly Ripa stated during the most recent episode of Live with Kelly and Mark. "Let me remind you where the outfit hangs," she continued. "Lauren is aware that it has a label. It's a black dress from Dolce & Gabbana. It is 10 years old. It's stunning, sophisticated, black, and charming. She actually planned it a long time ago if it's 10 years old." However, Mark, being himself, made fun of her for it, telling her to be nice or he might dress her in something crazy. Kelly Ripa also told ABC viewers what she desired at her wake. "All of my least favorite things will be served during the funeral. There will be glasses of milk, chicken wings, and deviled eggs." What do you think of Kelly Ripa wearing her funeral gown already so that Mark Consuelos is aware of her preferred attire? Do you believe she is sincere, or is she making a joke? What if she wanted her least favorite foods and beverages to be served at the wake? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and return here for all of your Live with Kelly and Mark updates. For more than 2 decades, Kelly Ripa has been the unbreakable center of morning television. Viewers have grown used to seeing her glide onto the set of Live, smiling through every broadcast, carrying a lightness that makes it easy to forget she is a real person with fears, scars, and private battles that rarely make it to the public eye. But a recent confession, delivered with startling honesty, has shaken fans to the core. Kelly Ripa, the eternally vibrant host who seems forever full of life, opened up about a moment when she confronted the idea of her own death, and how it changed her in ways she still struggles to explain. It was not a glamorous story tied to a Hollywood risk or a dramatic medical emergency splashed across tabloids. Instead, it was something quieter, something more human, and perhaps more relatable than anyone expected. She spoke of a moment so still, so sharp in memory, that it divided her life into before and after. The confession came during a reflective conversation on inner fears and long-ignored anxieties. As she unfolded the story, the audience felt the weight of her words. The realization that even the brightest personalities can be haunted by shadows they hide from the world. Kelly described being alone, long before her on-air polish formed an armor of confidence. She had been dealing with exhaustion that went unnoticed by fans who saw only a polished performance every morning. Her routine had become a cycle of non-stop tasks, obligations, and emotional weight she never admitted she was carrying. She realized, too late, that she had stopped taking care of herself. The moment she feared she might not wake up wasn't born from illness, but from the crushing pressure she had normalized for years. She had been lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to fall asleep despite her body begging for rest. Her heart raced in uneven patterns, and for the first time, she wondered if it might stop. The idea came not as panic, but as a cold certainty she couldn't brush away. She thought of her family, her husband Mark, her children, and what it would mean if she closed her eyes and didn't open them again. She described the moment with unusual clarity, as though she had replayed it countless times in the privacy of her mind. It was the first time she truly believed she could die without warning, not in some distant future, but in the stillness of that very night. The next morning, she walked onto the live stage with the same bright smile fans expected. No one in the audience could have guessed that she had spent the night contemplating her own mortality. She laughed, joked, and carried the show as if nothing had happened. But inside, something had shifted. The fear did not fade the moment the cameras turned off. It lingered, forcing her to confront parts of her life she had buried beneath constant business. Her confession wasn't about dramatizing the moment. It was about acknowledging how close she felt to losing control of her own life. She described how the incident made her reevaluate everything: her work, her relationships, even her sense of identity. For years, she had been the dependable one, the cheerful one, the one who never faltered. She had convinced herself that vulnerability was a weakness she could not afford, but the truth was far more complicated. Kelly explained that the fear of dying wasn't really about physical danger. It was the fear of leaving behind an unfinished life, a life she had rushed through instead of fully experiencing. She realized she had spent so much time being strong that she had forgotten how to feel. Her exhaustion was not just physical. It was emotional depletion she had ignored until her mind forced her to face it. The confession sent waves across the fanbase because it revealed a version of Kelly Ripa few had ever imagined. People see television personalities as symbols of confidence and stability. Kelly's admission shattered that illusion in a way that felt raw and deeply human. It reminded viewers that even the most put-together public figures can struggle with silent battles the world never sees. After the experience, Kelly took small but meaningful steps to reclaim her sense of control. She began reevaluating the pace of her life, carving out time to rest without guilt. She acknowledged that part of her fear came from always pretending she had everything handled. For the first time, she allowed herself the freedom to say she was overwhelmed, tired, or simply in need of a break. Her story resonated not because it was glamorous, but because it was relatable. Countless people push themselves to the edge without realizing how worn down they have become. Kelly's confession served as a reminder that burnout can be as dangerous as any physical illness, that the mind can betray a person long before the body shows signs. Her moment of fearing death was ultimately her wake-up call, one that forced her to face uncomfortable truths she had ignored for too long. In the months that followed, Kelly slowly rebuilt a healthier foundation. She reframed her relationship with work, learning to say no when needed. She prioritized quiet moments with her family, soaking in the time she once let pass by in a blur. She described how she now pays attention to her body and emotions instead of pushing past them. It was a transformation rooted not in fear, but in clarity. What shocked fans most was not that Kelly had a vulnerable moment. It was that she finally allowed the world to see it. Her openness revealed a depth of honesty that made her confession even more powerful. She did not share the story for sympathy. She shared it because she knew others were silently struggling, just as she had been. Kelly's reflection on her own mortality ultimately became a turning point. It reminded her that life is fragile, that even the strongest people can break if they carry too much for too long. Her story is a testament to the importance of slowing down, of listening to the body and mind, and of acknowledging personal limits without shame. Today, Kelly Ripa continues to shine on live, but her glow carries new meaning. It is not the effortless brightness of someone pushing through exhaustion. It is the grounded light of someone who has faced her darkest fear and emerged with a deeper understanding of herself. Her confession about the night she feared she might die wasn't meant to frighten fans. It was meant to remind them that no one is immune to vulnerability, and that recognizing one's limits is not weakness but wisdom. Her honesty has strengthened her connection with viewers in a profound way. People see her not just as a host, but as a person who has walked through fear and come out stronger. Kelly's revelation is an invitation for others to pause, breathe, and take stock of their own lives. And in that sense, her story is not about death at all, but about the courage to truly live.